Okay, good morning. Hi, everyone. This is Valerie Garcia, and I am coming to you from Toronto, Ontario. Thanks for joining me today. If you guys could just give me a quick shout out in the chat box to let me know you can hear me and that everything's working properly this morning. I see a lot of people online, a lot of people that I think are pretty awesome, and that makes me a little bit nervous that you're all joining my session this morning. Great. So I can see tons of you there. That's awesome. So happy to have you with me this morning. I've got people from all over the world joining us. Listen, this is one of my favorite sessions to do. I've done this a couple of times. It's had a couple of different names. I cleaned this one up for a recorded webinar today, and this is being recorded, just so you know. So I will be sharing out the recording with you after the session is over, so you can share it with those people who maybe need to see this. We're calling this one Social Media, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And this is our 2014 edition. So I'm going to be sharing with you, in my opinion, some of the best, the worst, and the ugliest of social media in real estate in 2014. Now, I've done the very best I can to hide identities where it's necessary, so we're not embarrassing anybody today. I do have a little bit of a disclaimer that I'm going to be flashing up quickly. I'm not going to let you read the whole thing. You may need to get the recording for that. But I do want to let you know that this in no way reflects on the beliefs of my employer or of those people who so gratefully give me a job every day. These are just my own opinions, and of course, you are welcome to disagree with me. And in fact, if you do disagree with me, I do hope that you will tweet out using the hashtag good, bad, ugly, and let me know that you disagree. Because one of the best things about social media is that we all get to do it our own way. So if you have thoughts or opinions, be unafraid to share those with the group. Okay, so just a bit of a disclaimer here, blah, 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 the basic stuff. So the very first thing that I want to start with is, why are you here? And this is not that whole existential, why are you on the face of the planet? This is, why are you on social media at all? And this is where we kind of get to the good stuff, because everybody has their own reasons for being on social media. And I think that's awesome. I think everybody has the right and the privilege to go out and do whatever they want to do. I think one of the very first questions you should ask yourself, though, is, why are you using social media in terms of in your real estate business? And that's one of the questions that really helps me to define some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Because if you are here on social to create relationships and create conversation and meet people who are going to help grow your business and talk about some of the things that you love about being in real estate, then that is one of the very best reasons to be there. And it's going to help shape what you do and what you put on your social media accounts. It's really going to shape your strategy, your online content, and all of it you're going to kind of hold up against that microscope. And so now that we've kind of gotten that out of the way and you've had a second to think about why you're there and does this stuff kind of fit in with your strategy, we're going to jump right in. So we're going to jump in with the good. And I like starting with the good because it's the holiday season. And let's start out making everybody feel good before we kind of jump into the bad and the ugly. So the good, that I'm going to be honest, the good was kind of difficult to find. We had a lot of options out there, and I do take all of these examples live right from the accounts that I see every day on social media. And so I have examples of people that follow me and I follow them, and people that I know in real life. And some of these things really were heartwarming, but some of these were also really good examples of how to use social media in real estate. So the very first one, I loved this. Bruce Johnson did an amazing thing last year in raising money for our local Sick Kids Foundation for a Sick Kids Hospital. And one of the ways that he used social media to do that was he created a group for everyone who donated to that initiative. And he called them out personally and put them in a Hall of Fame group. I loved this. Like, this would be something that would be fantastic to do with your best clients or your referral agents or your vendors or people that you want to recognize and say, these people are amazing. This would be an amazing way to do that, is to call them out in a special group, your Hall of Fame. And Bruce did this with all of the people who donated to his initiative, and I think that was fantastic. It was awesome to see who else was in that group. So this is a fantastic way to do sort of that give back, that feel good, and use social media at the same time. The next one This one was shared by Valerie Alexander. This was one of the best posts that I saw all year. I'm going to go on record saying that this video, totally worth the 18 minutes of your life. Tim Minchin, fantastic speaker, hilariously funny, giving some amazing insights into life in general. I enjoyed this post. This was something that I posted again, and then I also pinned it in my Pinterest board of inspiration, and then I shared it with a bunch of people. This is something that I absolutely loved, and so this definitely made the list of good. So if you haven't seen this, hit up Valerie Alexander. She can set you up with a link. If you're not friends with her, she's an amazing person to hook up with on social media anyway. You can also find this on AIM's website. This was another one that I loved. This one, Christine Kemp, great job, girl. This one she posted, and this is something that I think is so important, adding value. I'm going to talk a lot about this today, is adding value with your posts. And this one gave me some lull value. This was laugh out loud funny. And it gave interesting information that you would totally want to see if you lived in that community, where you can park in the winter. Now, those of you who are listening from Australia or Florida or California, where you don't get snowbanks higher than your head, you may not get this, but here in Canada, you're only allowed to park on a certain side of the street on certain days because the snowplow has to get through. And it's really important to know when you move into a community where you can park and where you can't in the winter. And so this is a really interesting post that Christine put on her blog, and then she tweeted it out and shared it on social media on Facebook. But how hilarious is this? I mean, dude, where's my car? You can't help but laugh, but also it's bringing value at the same time. So good job, Christine. I think this definitely makes the list of good social media posts for the year. This next one, I love this. This is a local real estate agent who runs this Facebook page, and it's specific to Streetsville, a community near where I work. And what I loved is that this was just visual, local love. It was something interesting to look at. What great photography. Talks about when they're doing the Christmas tree lighting in Streetsville, and when the square is going to be having horse and wagon rides and hot chocolate. And I just love this. This was a feel-good post, and this is something that, again, gives value, gives information to the people who live in that community, but was visual and local and fun. So again, this one definitely made my list for good this year. This one I also love. Lisa posted this, and I just thought this was amazing. Now, at first glance, if you're scrolling through on your phone or on your computer, you might see this and think, well, that's kind of an ugly picture. But when you stop and you read the caption underneath, I love to look around my city and see someone bringing a house back to life. #New Orleans. I loved this. This is something that I think that we could all stand to do a better job, is giving our local communities some love on social media. One of the most important things we can talk about is the value that we bring to our community and the place that we hold in our community. And just showing things like this, that you're involved in the community, that you care, that you know what's going on, that you pay attention to that. I think that stuff is awesome. And so that definitely also made my good list for the year. This one was interesting. This one caused a little bit of debate on social media, and a lot of people would have put this in the bad or ugly column. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say this one was funny. This one was something that an agent snapped a picture of, and I blanked out the comments here because they actually were quite negative about this picture. Now, yes, is it a for sale by owner? Absolutely. Is it a creative for sale by owner? 100%. Is it a for sale by owner that actually sees that they have to give some value? Absolutely. Do we have something to learn from that? I think so. I think this was a great conversation starter. I think this was a fun post. This would be something where you could post a picture like this and say, what are you looking for when you go to an open house? Are you looking for free beer and wine? Are you looking for an expert who knows the community? I think this is a great conversation starter, and I'm absolutely giving this a hands to thumbs up for good of the year. All right, so this is interesting because DiGiorno Pizza, I actually talk about them a lot in my training. I love DiGiorno Pizza, and their strategy for social media is, I think, genius. This started really about a year and a half ago when they started live tweeting The Sound of Music live, which was really kind of a tragedy. and as a show in general, but the tweets that came out of that from DiGiorno Pizza really kind of put them on the map. They found their niche and they really own it. They tweet some hilarious stuff and they live tweet a lot of stuff that happens on TV. Now, DiGiorno Pizza actually made a number of lists this year for being sort of some of the worst social media examples of the year when they took a hashtag, which I won't repeat, that was being used for something that was not what they thought. And they tweeted it out, and it came across being a very major faux pas. But what I want to do is show, I've added them into my good list because I want to show what they did next. Those bottom two tweets there, they said, "We heard from you. We know we disappointed you. We made a mistake. We're very sorry." And they admitted it. And I think that's something that is admirable. And I think that's something that we can all learn from, is not only just being great at the times when we're great, but also being humble at the times when we know we're not. And everybody makes mistakes. What's really important is how you handle them. So I definitely wanted to put DiGiorno Pizza on the list again this year for good social media use, because I really admire the way they handled that situation. So lots of good stuff there. Love the conversation starters, love the local love the giving back, love the humility. We're gonna go on to the bad now. This is kind of the funny bit. Bad stuff, in my opinion, you're going to make the bad list if you do things that are just kind of dumb moves on social media. Now, the ugly we'll get to later. The ugly is just you should have known better. But the bad, this is just stuff that hopefully you take this and you learn from it. Again, I've blanked out a lot of people's names and photos here because I'm not about embarrassing anybody. But these are all live examples. So if you recognize yourself, I'm very sorry. Hopefully I have not hurt your feelings, but I hope that other people will take the opportunity to learn from some of these. So let's start out. And now this one is a bit, this one's a bit of a challenge because there was a fairly large conversation on a very prominent real estate group this week about this very question, about whether this is a good question to ask. And I'm going to go ahead and take a risk, and I'm going to put this in the bad category. I think that what happens is you go to a real estate conference and a speaker there says, "Everybody pull out your phone right now and tweet or Facebook, how old were you when you bought your first house? And wait to see what happens." Well, you get a million responses, generally, a whole bunch of them. They post their age of when they bought their first house, but I want to challenge people and say, why does this matter? This is a really open-ended question. This is not something that really creates a lot of conversation. It's just a whole slew of numbers. I would challenge people, if you're going to go this route, make it a more open-ended question. Like, say, what did you look for when you bought your first house? And, if you were going to work with me to buy your dream house now, what features would you want me to find for you? Find out a little bit more about the person. Make them dig a little bit deeper. I think this one's just kind of a throwaway spam comment, and I think that we could do better. As always, tweet me if you disagree. Second one, City Blast, or just automated content in general. I'm going to put this on the naughty list. This is definitely bad stuff. I hate seeing this. This is stuff where there are people that say, "Hey, I get lots of engagement on my posts. People like them all the time, and I don't actually have to do any work at all. I just subscribe to City Blast or some automated content, and they post everything for me." I think this is the lazy person's way out of social media content, and I really think that we can do better in this industry. What frustrates me is I might click on this link, and it's not even in any way related to the person that has it posted. And so if I am interested in it, I think, well, I could message that person for more information, but they're going to have to look it up the same way I will. So why wouldn't I just look it up? This is where, for me, it just gets frustrating as a consumer. I think, this isn't your own content. This isn't your own listing. So why is it on your page? I just think we can do better as an industry than automated content. So that one's making my bad list for the year. The next one, #Haze. That's what I'm calling this one. Now, I know why this happens, because you're on Instagram and you have Instagram instantly post to Facebook. So I get it, but I'm not following you on Instagram at the moment. I'm following you on Facebook. And so the thing is that I don't necessarily want to see all those hashtags. In reality, if I was on Instagram, I probably wouldn't be searching most of those hashtags in the first place. I get that we're in love with hashtags, and they're totally a cool thing when you're on Twitter or you're searching for a particular event. Good, bad, ugly. I spent a lot of time following that this morning to see what people are saying about this session. But I don't necessarily agree that this is a great use of social media. I don't think that this is something that you want people to have to scroll past all the time when they're following you on Facebook. Instagram, yeah, maybe. But when you're syncing your stuff to Facebook, I think you need to give a little bit of thought to the kind of content that people want to see on Facebook. And for me, it's definitely not 40 hashtags that definitely don't make any sense to me at all. So I would say that this one definitely gets a bad. I don't like seeing all the hashtags. I hope I'm not the only one that feels that way. Feel free to chime in on Twitter. I'd love to hear your opinions on this one. This one I'm going to call Contact Me. And God bless him, John Marsh. If you are watching, I know I didn't block out your name on this one, but the name is kind of the problem. We're going to talk a little bit about the ways people can contact you through your social media account. First of all, John, I'm sure you're a fantastic realtor, but Intergalactic Realtor as your middle name, I'm going to guess your mom didn't pick that one out for you. So I'm going to say that this is a bad use of social media. Anybody who adds words to their name that makes it harder for people to find you or harder to know if this is you, or really, in all honesty, would never think to search you that way, this one gets a thumbs down from me. I really think that we can do better, and I really think that your name is enough. Now, if your name is John Smith and John Smith is pretty much taken, totally get it. But I necessarily wouldn't add Intergalactic Realtor in there. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a thumbs down. I think you need to make it easy for people to find you and easy for people to contact you. And while this might be something that you would remember, this isn't necessarily why you would want to be remembered. So let's go on to Don't Contact Me. Now, I'm sure you're all going to feel my pain on this one. I get a lot of friend requests, as I'm sure you all do. And holy cow, you guys make it really hard for us to find out who you are. I click on the About section on everybody who sends me a friend request. And I would say that 8 times out of 10, I see this. Nothing. I don't know who you are. I don't know where you work. I don't know where you're from. I don't know what company you work with. And in all honesty, I don't really want to friend you. This I'm calling the Don't Contact Me because if I did friend you, how on earth would I contact you? I don't know who you are, and I don't know where to even begin. So this one is definitely making the bad list. We definitely need to make sure that we spend more time on our About sections on all of our social media accounts, because this one, this is just lazy. This is just bad social media. Let's go on to Don't Contact Me again. This one's going to be a theme for a bit. So here's an example, beautiful listing posted on Facebook, whole bunch of information there, blah, 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 except nowhere in there is a link to go to the listing. Nowhere in there is a way to contact the agent. There's no phone number, there's no email, but there is a really helpful 4 details, contact me. Now, you're going to have to do better than that because I'm scrolling with my thumb on my smartphone. If I was interested in that, I would definitely want to be able to click on something and find more information. What I hate is for details, contact me, because chances are I'm on my smartphone, which means I'm going to have to click on your face, which is going to take me into your profile. And then I'm going to click on your About section, and we're going to get that. So in all honesty, it still comes down to don't contact me. People, come on. Our attention spans are getting shorter. People want instant communication. They want to be able to get the information right now while you have their attention. Don't blow it. Don't throw out a beautiful picture and take the time to post all this information and not include a link to the listing, a link to your website, or a link to the Contact Me page on your website, something that allows people to instantly contact you. Next, no, really, don't contact me. This one, I see this all the time. Now, again, I get a great listing, come to my open house. But again, how am I finding information about this? Is there a link to the listing? Is there a link to contact you? I'm seeing this more and more and more. I understand that people are going to feel the need to post their listings on Facebook. No matter how many times I say, don't just post your listings on Facebook and nothing else. There will be people out there that do this, but you've got to make this process simpler. Put a link, put at least an MLS number, put an address, put a click through to text me instantly. Give us some more information, guys. This is just really bad social media. Again, you're making half the effort, but there's no close. In real estate, we've got to give them a call to action. I mean, when you watch a television commercial for cereal, they'll tell you 5 different places you can find that cereal: online, in the grocery store, at Facebook, on Twitter. You can follow Tony the Tiger. But we're not telling this person where to go to buy this house. We've got to do better at putting in that close. We've got to put in call to actions. Now let's go on to who are you? This is probably an even worse version of don't contact me. These are people that I've actually friended just so that I can take screenshots because they sent me a friend request and this is all I got. Now, in this case, what's really scary is person on the top and I have 59 mutual friends and they look like a lake. Don't they look like a lake to you? I don't know that I've ever met somebody that looks like a lake. But anyway, I mean, come on. 59 of us have friended some guy who looks like a lake. We have got to raise the bar in this industry. Why are we out there friending people when our Facebook picture is a picture of a lake? This is where a few minutes when you set up your account, put in a picture, put in a cover photo, put in some information in the About Me section. It's going to make a huge difference. For the record, I can immediately unfriended these people after I took the screenshots because I have absolutely no interest in friending people who don't want to give any personal information but are basically just there to stalk. And the reality is if that's what your Facebook profile looks like, most people are going to assume that you're there to stalk. So moving on. No, really, who are you? This is another huge pet peeve of mine. Again, tweet me if you disagree, but come on. People who put company names as their profile name. There's a reason why Facebook has business pages. That's what those are for. But when you start a Facebook profile and you make your name the name of your company, that just doesn't cut it. And what's worse is that they usually go on and upload their ad into their cover photo. So basically, I've just friended an ad. Nah, that doesn't work for me on social media. If I'm going to friend you, you better be a real person. And I want to make sure that when you're talking to me, that there's a real person behind there. And that's not just me. Your customer is going to feel that same way. So I really think it's important that if you have a Facebook profile and the name of it is your company, that you go in and change that to an actual person's name because people want to connect with people, not ads. So I think it's really important that you go in and double check that your Facebook profile doesn't look like an ad. For the record, I didn't respond to either of those friend requests. They're both still sitting in my account because I just really don't know what they expect me to do with those. So yeah, those are going to make the bad list this year. This is the next one. Now, I blanked these out, but I really didn't want to blank out these names because I wanted you to see, and I swear to you that this is true, that this was 2 people who happened to be married to each other, who I am assuming were in the same household at the time, who were having a conversation on Facebook back and forth. This is a classic case of why is this not a private message? I mean, I know this is ridiculous, and I'm really not kidding you, but I don't want to read all of this. If you want to have a private conversation with somebody on Facebook and you're going to vague book it, put it in a private message. Facebook posts like this back and forth just fill up my newsfeed and make me think, why am I following this person? Why am I engaging with this person? I don't know who they're talking to. Now, I think this is probably a classic case of they're chatting with each other from another room and they're forgetting to use the private messaging function. But I see this a lot on Twitter as well. Private messages are there for a reason. I think if you're vague booking back and forth, it's important to be using the actual feature that's designed for that. So that one's making my bad list. This one I'm going to call TLI. Now, we're all familiar with TMI. This is the opposite. This is too little information. This is also known as so what. So I'll give you a couple of examples here, and we see this a lot. I mean, hands up if you know somebody who does this. God bless them. That first tweet at the top there, I'm not about to click on that link, and any self-respecting person who uses social media is also not about to click on that link. Who on earth knows where that link goes? If that doesn't look like spam, I don't know what does. Come on, people. You love it, Why? What is it? Give me a little bit more to go on. Otherwise, you just wasted 30 seconds of your life programming that into Hootsuite. And secondly, today's weather in Sydney is cloudy. That's great. But the reality is, I mean, why? So what? If I'm there, I can look outside. And if I'm not, did you give me any information that my weather app isn't giving me? Come on, guys. This is lazy social media. And what's even worse is that when you're in real estate and using lazy social media like this, it just keeps people scrolling and they're less likely to stop and look at your stuff later when all they've learned is to scroll past your crap. So definitely those are making the bad list this year. All right, let's move on to TMI. And I'm not going to stay on this one very long because I don't think we need to spend 30 seconds of our life reading this. This is definitely what I'm calling vague booking, and maybe the best vague booking of the year. Guys, come on. We have got to stop with the giant venti posts about nothing where we don't call anybody out, we don't solve any problems, and we just are taking up people's time. I don't want to friend you if this is kind of stuff I'm going to have to scroll past. And I see a lot of this in real estate. A lot of it, unfortunately, involves our customers. Oh my gosh, I just showed this guy this house and he doesn't want to write an offer and it's the 30th house I've shown him, blah, blah, blah. We know you feel that way. I know it's tough to be in that situation, but we've got to stop sharing those frustrations on social media. This is bad social media. This is definitely TMI. And seriously, guys, we have got to stop the TMI. All right, this is the what's in it for me. What's in it for me? Well, I see a lot of these, and this is just the example that I chose to share. Happy Black Friday. Any idea what's in it for me here? Am I clicking on any of these? Oh, I can't. There's no links. There's no addresses. There's no information. What's in this for me? Is there really a sale? Are they 30% off? I don't know. This is bad social media, guys. This is not delivering value. There's nothing in it for me. There's no reason why I would click on this picture or even respond to it. And again, I'm seeing that this comes from Instagram, so I totally get that you're just sharing it that way. But even if this is coming from Instagram, there's no hashtags that would even give me any information on Instagram as to what to do next. So again, no call to action, guys. Bad social media. This is one of my favorites. This is a mixture of TLI and WIIFM. Too little information and what's in it for me. So this is where someone shared a link but didn't take the time to write anything about why they're sharing the link or why the link is important or why you should click on the link or what the link is going to tell you. This is a very, very good opportunity to go in, share a link that means something, talk about why it's important, talk about why you want to use it, why somebody wants to click on it, why it brings value to them. Sharing links like this are fantastic. For the record, this was an article from the Toronto Star talking about what to consider when you're buying your first home. It's a fantastic article. All it would have taken to save this post and put it in the good section as opposed to the bad section was the author taking a few minutes to add a few comments about why you should click on the link and what it's going to tell you. So again, too little information, know what's in it for me. Those are two questions you've got to ask yourself when you're posting on social media. This one I'm calling open house overload. I see these a lot. I mean, I think it's a great idea that you want to share your open houses, but I think that there's a better way to do it. A tweet or a Facebook post that shows 15 different open houses, all at the same location, all at the same time. This one's really not telling me anything. Again, I don't know what to do with this information. I could go to one of those, but I'm not necessarily sure they're all open at the same time. And if they are, that really isn't made clear to me. And the reality also is that there's nothing really enticing me to go to any of those. There's no prices. There's no information about them. I think if you want to be sharing out your open houses on the weekends, you really do need to take the time, take a picture, post a picture of where the open house is, why it's a great house, why it's a great neighborhood, what I might find when I get there. I think we can do better. I think this is bad social media. This one I'm calling link logic. This one I'm putting in the bad section, but I really think a lot of people don't necessarily know that they can do better. First of all, when you add a link into a post on social media, after the link display down at the bottom appears. So in this case, this is the horrible link that shows mobile DMS. You can actually go back and delete the stuff that you're seeing in blue. And so the link doesn't look ugly in your post. But in addition to that, you'll see that this person posted a link to, I don't even know. I'm not really sure why I would click on that. It doesn't lead anywhere that seems to make sense. One of the things that I really encourage people is if you're going to put a link to your listings, guys, put it to your own website. Why are you sending people somewhere else? Why aren't you sending them to your own website where you can grab that traffic and you can hopefully get a lead off of it? Let's take the time to put a little bit more thought into these posts. I think we can do better than this. This is definitely illogical linkage. All right off a cliff. While we're on the topic of links, this guy posted his open house, which is great, showed the information that they wanted to say when the open house is and that it's renovated and all of that. But then they put a link to Kijiji. Now, for those of you who are not in Canada, Kijiji is like Craigslist. And really, again, back to link logic. Guys, if you're going to put a listing on social media and you're going to have a link leading people to somewhere, again, to your own website and definitely not to Kijiji or Craigslist. On Facebook, you want to be grabbing every single bit of traffic that you can because you've earned it. You've friended those people or you've earned their likes. Don't go sending them right off a cliff to a site that has all kinds of other information where you lose that traffic. Send them to your own website, not off a cliff. Bad social media, guys. This one I'm calling the look it up yourself. Again, great examples of people taking the time to actually put their listing information on social media. Again, not necessarily 100% sure that I think this is the best way to be using social media, but if you are going to be sharing your listings and your open houses, you've got to be giving them a link so they can click and get more information. Most time, people are searching your stuff on social media on their smartphone. Make it easy for them. In both of these cases, all they got was an MLS number. I feel like you could have just wrote, here's the MLS number, look it up yourself. Because the reality is, I have to go now out of Facebook on my mobile device, open a browser, open the MLS, copy and paste the MLS number into the MLS and look it up. And you think that I'm just going to click on your name and contact you directly, but the reality is that most people aren't going to do that. They're going to go, if they're truly interested, go and look it up themselves. But by the time they go through that process, they're already frustrated. So remove those gates, remove that frustration, make that process easier. Put a link in there. Really, really simple thing to do that would fix this and move it from bad to tolerable. Here's an example of Twitter TMI. And this isn't such a bad one as it is just ignorant. I mean, it's a great tweet, really good information, but the reality is that this person is syncing their information from Facebook or from another site onto Twitter, or they've just not realized that Twitter has a 140 character limit and they're not paying attention. And so what's happened here is that it's cut off the content and shows just continued. Now, if I was really wanting to show that information in a way that would mean something to the person who's reading this tweet, I would take the time to format this tweet so it fits within 140 characters and so that it's easy to read and then somebody's going to want to click on that link. So Twitter TMI is where we put way too much content in there. It doesn't fit within the 140 characters and it doesn't leave people with a good feeling. I don't really know what the rest of that sentence is. I didn't get in the full call to action. It's just bad social media. So taking that time to format your tweets and format your Facebook posts so that they're applicable to the sites you're using, really good way to make this, to improve this problem. So again, disagree with me? Love to hear from you. All right, that was the bad. Not too bad, but now we're going to look at the ugly. Hopefully you look back at the bad and you learn a few things. Hopefully you look back and say, I can delete those links. I can put in links to proper locations. I can clean up the About Me section. I can give people ways to contact me easier. I can make sure that I'm not doing too little information or vague booking or venting and just in overall giving really good value in the posts that I'm sharing. The ugly, on the other hand, we're going to be looking at some of these, and at this point, we really just we should know better, people. The ugly is just plain ugly. So I've left it to last. and I've kind of put the final notice on here because I think we're all at the point where we're all been using social media long enough now that you're going to find that people that continue to do the ugly stuff, they're going to get unfriended and unfollowed because really we should know better by now. So let me give you some examples of the ugly this year. Facebook, Twitter syncing. This definitely goes on my ugly list. Guys, we've got to stop tweeting and Facebooking and syncing them back and forth. Every time you share a photo on Facebook, it tweets that you shared a photo. And when you loaded an entire album from your annoyingly awesome conference in Hawaii and you've synced your Twitter, now I have to scroll through 52 tweets that say you shared a photo. Guys, this is ugly social media. Whenever you post a photo to Facebook, if you're syncing to Twitter and vice versa, I'm seeing it in both locations and it's not pretty. So you've got to turn off that Facebook, Twitter syncing. And people who set their accounts up to do this, I really encourage you to go in and turn it off. When you go into Facebook and you set up your account, go into your settings and turn off Twitter syncing. Don't do this. This is ugly social media. We don't need to be subjecting people to this anymore. We know better. This one's definitely ugly. This one I'm calling the overshare. And this isn't really the overshare in the terms that you might remember it. The overshare in this case is where you take something and you post it on your page and then you share it from your page onto your personal account. Now, I get what you're trying to do. You want everybody to see it. It's a beautiful property. Totally get it. But no, don't do this. It just shows that you've basically just shared your own content. It's like liking your own post. I don't have any of those in here, but liking your own post is also like giving yourself a high five in public. You've got to stop. You've got to stop sharing your stuff on both of your sites like this. If you're going to post it onto your page, great. Then go onto your profile and tell people there's a reason to go visit my page, not share it this way. This is just ugly. We should know better. This one I'm calling clickbait. This one, oh my gosh, people, we have got to stop this. Only us can prevent forest fires, right? Did you go to school in the US? Did you learn that from Smokey the Bear? Look, we are the only ones that can stop this horrible social media spam. This stuff is clickbait. And if you don't know what the term clickbait means, it's something that's designed just to get you to click on it that's not actually going to give you any value. When you see these kind of posts, when you see these tests like, hey, what food are you? What state should you actually live in? If you were a bird, what kind of bird would you be? Guys, this is spam. They're harvesting your information. When you take these tests, they're actually putting you on lists of people that are going to get more spam. Don't do this. I especially love this that somebody commented, everyone gets Texas. It's their ad. Absolutely. These are ads, guys. These are not, while they seem like fun games, they're not. They're spammers that are harvesting information and they're ads. And this is never a good idea. While it might be fun in the short term, when you start getting spammed and then 2 months from now, when somebody steals your password and goes in and starts spamming all your friends, generally, this is the kind of crap that starts it. So stop this. This is ugly social media. This one I'm calling Snopes Much. Now, do you know what Snopes is? Maybe kind of not the best name for a website, Snopes, but let me tell you, everybody needs to know what Snopes is, and we need to use it more often. This kind of stuff where you post things about Facebook changing their privacy settings, and everybody needs to post this or go in or change a setting. Guys, this is not how Facebook announces changes. And this stuff is not real. This is ugly social media. We have got to stop getting sucked into this. The problem is that people are like, well, there's a small chance it might be real, so just in case, I'm going to post it. You guys, you're ruining social media for the rest of us. You've got to stop this. Use Snopes if you're not sure. Go to Snopes.com and type in Facebook privacy settings, and it will tell you exactly which posts are not real and you should not be reposting. Takes 2 or 3 minutes, and then you stop looking like you're using social media incorrectly. Next one. Oh, no such thing as a free lunch, guys. Really? If you share BMW's photo, they're not going to give you a BMW. And if you share Actifry's photo, they're not going to give you a free Fryolator. And if you share anybody's photo, they're not going to give you a free something. Bill Gates is not about to give you $1 million if you share a picture of him. We've got to stop this. There's no such thing as a free lunch. If somebody offered us $1 million on the street for something, we'd be like, what's the catch? But on Facebook, we share this kind of crap all the time. This is content crap, and we can stop it. All you do is stop sharing this stuff. Stop liking it and stop pushing it back out there into the world. This is ugly social media. None of this stuff actually ever works. It's all just a scam, and we really need to stop getting sucked in. And if that doesn't convince you, I have some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you, because Costco is not going to give you free gift cards just for liking their page. Guys, this stuff not only is not legal on Facebook, but it's not real. And we have to stop getting sucked into this crap. This one, well, this one is just no. I couldn't even come up with a clever way to describe this kind of stuff. This kind of goes way beyond the rant. We've got to stop making our industry look like a bunch of people who complain about our customers. You'd be surprised how many of these I sorted through in order to do this session today. I got a lot of them sent to me. I have a lot of them saved in an Evernote folder. And let me tell you, I see it a lot. This is ugly social media, guys. We have got to stop talking about other agents and our customers badly on public social media sites. We can do better in our industry. Let's do better. We can. It's up to us, but we can do it. This one just gets a just now. Lastly, I didn't want to put any examples here because I think you all know what I'm talking about when I get to this one. But this is probably the epitome of bad social media, when it's all about me. Me, me, me. What I'd really love for us to do is stop using me and I so much in our social media posts and really focus on the person that we're talking to. Keep in mind, social media is a way for us to start a conversation about people. Nobody cares if we're number one. What they care is whether we're going to make our customer feel like they're number one. So stop with the me, me, me. And I think that will immediately give you more value to give to your customers. So the very last question I want to leave you with on this webinar today is, whenever you're posting something, whatever you're sharing on social media, does it add value? When you're posting a picture of something, or you're posting anything really, tweeting, are you asking, does this add value? Is this something that somebody's going to feel better about reading? Is this something that's going to tell somebody something that they need to hear? I think it's really important. And I encourage you to post that on a sticky note above your laptop, or make it your screensaver for the next couple of months, and really start thinking about the content you're putting out there and ask yourself, does it add value? So I want to end here with a special thanks to Blurry Guy. This is nobody in particular. I just used his picture and blurred it out and covered everyone's picture with it. So yes, everyone, round of applause for Blurry Guy. Please tweet him and thank him for taking the time to be with us today. Also, I want to thank you all for being part of this webinar. I really enjoyed sharing this with you. I enjoyed putting it together. It's always a lot of fun to find these examples, but what's really fun is watching people who joined us on these sessions actually go in and improve the quality of their content. So hit me up on social media. I'd love to friend you on Facebook and Twitter. I promise it's not because I want fresh content for next year, but I would love to talk to you more about your thoughts on the session today. Encourage you to please tweet out your thoughts to Good, Bad, Ugly. If you disagreed with me, I'd be happy to chat with you about it online. And also, if you're interested in what that disclaimer said on page 2, I will be issuing out the recording of this feature later today or tomorrow, and you can check it out. So thanks again, and I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.